Hey, welcome, this is Jelle growing bonsai, and today we are in Washington, DC, and not for the Lincoln Memorial, not for the National Mall. No, we are here for World Bonsai Day. US National Arboretum. It hosts the National Bonsai and Penjing collection, and what we can find here are some of the finest bonsai you've ever seen, and I know that you know most of them. The US National Arboretum is home to the National Bonsai and Penjing collection, and to the event of the World Bonsai Day, they're also hosting the Potomac Bonsai Society. It is a club consisting of multiple bonsai clubs, and they've put their trees out there. Part of the national collection are very famous trees. You know the tree that survived the atomic blast? You know Goshin, made by John Naka? They're here. And also some other species that you might not know but are equally famous over 100 years in pot. Of course, we're going to look at the exhibits. We have Sergio Cuan doing demonstrations. I'm very sorry about one thing. I was here yesterday already taking a lot of shots of the exhibition, but it was pouring with rain. So everything is soaking wet. If you see shots that are wet, they were taken yesterday. I'm not going to refilm everything. Who would have known? And of course, no bonsai show is complete without the traders. Lots of trees, pots and equipment for sale here and inside. We're only minutes away, then these doors will open and we get to go inside in the bonsai collection. Of course, the rest of the botanical garden is just open. You can watch the arboretum. There's lots of things to be seen.
So many varieties can work well. And Kingsville boxwood is it's wonderful because you can see how tiny the leaves are.
It is World Bonsai Day. It's a day that's obviously very important to us here in the National Arboretum in the nation's capital, and so we're honored to have you here. I do want to thank first, before we get into this, the National Bonsai Foundation, who is a private partner in this affair in terms of running this great institution, running this museum. So without the support of the National Bonsai Foundation, we wouldn't exist. Of course, we'll be able to now shoot everyone as well. So.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Again, my name is Ben Guzman. I'm honored to serve Mayor Muriel Bowser as the director for the Mayor's Office on Asian and Pacific Islander Affairs. We're so pleased to be here. And I'll just close by reading the proclamation. We're so pleased to be able to see so many copies of it floating around here, but I'll just read it again for you here. And whereas the Potomac Bonsai Festival returns to the National Arboretum and the National Bonsai and Penjing Museum May 10th through the 12th, 2024, featuring a bonsai exhibition, beginner workshops, family-friendly activities, and more. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C., do hereby proclaim May 11th, 2024 as World Bonsai Day in Washington, D.C.
I want to make sure that you all have opportunities to take advantage of it, to learn more about bonsai in whatever place it is that you enter this art form. I want to really make sure to have you all help me welcome and thank our guest artists. So please help me welcome Sergio Cuan. Hi, Sergio. Thank you, Bobby, and the National Bonsai Foundation for all the support. You guys have really made this festival, all the different volunteers that are helping us out. Potomac Bonsai Association is an association of multiple bonsai clubs in DC, Virginia, and Maryland. And those members are here making things happen. Michael James. Michael is the curator of the National Bonsai and Penjing Museum.
To share with you our three legacy collections. The Chinese Penjing collection, the Japanese collection that was given in the bicentennial year of 1976, which we're about to celebrate our 50th anniversary of that collection, and then our avant-garde North American collection.
Until a few hours ago, this was the most recent addition here to the museum. It's Colorado Blue Spruce. It was owned beforehand by Karen Harkaway. This tree was collected by Todd Schaefer, a well-known North American collector, and then styled by Karen with help of Mauro Stemberger from Italy. And fun fact, the pot came from Czech Republic, and the repotting was done by Karen with Mauro Stemberger on video call. How cool is that? A tree with a history, and unfortunately no longer the most recent addition to the collection, because this morning there was another tree added to the collection.
The one in the fountain around here is the iconic Penelope, and that was brought to us on temporary loan for the weekend by Mike McCallion from Ontario, Canada. And then right next to Nick Lenz's hemlock that Mike donated is a recent donation by Bjornholm.
This is another iconic tree. This was donated just a few weeks ago here to the museum, and it is a Douglas fir.
So please check out all of those trees and just enjoy and have a great weekend. Happy World Bonsai Day.
This is one of the most iconic North American trees. It is Penelope. It was created by Nick Lenz, and now it is actually owned by someone in Canada who has kindly provided the tree for this exhibition. And every time I see it, I am impressed by the beauty, the fine foliage of the larch on top, and then the intimate embrace of the tree with the statue Penelope. Now the show layout is really, really nice here. This is an open outdoor space with a lot of member trees exhibited here on these tables, but they also have a big exhibition site inside with special displays. Now for people who are serious about bonsai, maybe you want to look away because this is actually not a bonsai, right? No, it can't be, because it's Portulacaria. It is a succulent, and it's one of those succulents that is successfully used to create bonsai. And I have a video on how you grow these, and if you have not seen it, take a look down below in the links, and I have a link to how you grow these. This is a very, very, very successful Portulacaria bonsai. An example of what you can do with the species if you just take your time to develop a trunk and branches and position them.
Oh wait, whoa. This is what's graphic sticks.
What I really like about the setup here is that every tree has a name tag with information about the tree. Now this is a Ligustrum, and if you're from Europe, then Ligustrum olfatifolium or the regular privet would come to mind. But this is not actually a regular privet, this is a thickery privet, a species I've never come across, and it's new to me, Ligustrum ficari, and it's about 29 years old. I'm going to show you a couple of the trees as they were standing here yesterday in the pouring rain. But first, inside, let's go. one of the centerpieces on display this weekend is this massive Zelkova Serrata. Zelkova, of course, is often found in shops, and in fact it's not a Zelkova what you find in shops, these are normally ohms. This is a true Zelkova. It's been in training since 1895, and as a result this trunk is nicely barked up, it's no longer smooth, and yeah, we look in the canopy itself, we see the nice ramification having developed. This is one gorgeous tree with a perfect nabari.
So, and I have to get it to the consistency of Play-Doh. Can you see this? Yeah. I did this. I know that a lot of people like, oh, it looks so pretty with leaves, and they do, but traditionally you want to display your trees in winter. And that's why deciduous trees are difficult to work with, because any flaws, like inverse taper, and if somebody says, what's inverse taper? Will show up in the winter silhouette, okay? So that's why you have to be nearly flawless when you're working with deciduous. With conifers, the evergreens, they have their own challenges, but at least with conifers, you always have that foliage throughout the entire year, and you can hide defects of the tree a little more easily. Anyway, so I have an interesting problem with this maple. We have 3 trunks coming from the same point. So the idea is to reduce it down to 2. We can always go to 1, but that would probably not be as interesting. And why am I reducing it to 2 trunks rather than keeping it the way it is? I think if we left it the way it is, this section here would swell up and will create an inverse taper. For those of you that may not know, inverse taper is you get kind of like a bulge on the trunk and it goes down narrow. You definitely certainly want to avoid that. You want that taper effect, thicker from the bottom and thinner towards the top. You never want to see that sort of like swelling. You don't see in Japan a short trunk and then splits into 2 trunks or 3 trunks. Probably something like this they would throw out in Japan. They would throw it out. They're a lot more strict, let's just say. Maybe their approach is more orthodox in the way they approach bonsai. I think in the West, we're a little bit looser in the way, like dead wood on deciduous trees, things like that. I think we're a little more open.
For those of you who have a bonsai or want to, or bought some plants up there that you'd like to start styling, thinking about finding a club near you where you can actually have people who have more experience be able to show you these little techniques and tricks that are going to help you do the best with your trees is really valuable.
A tiger bark fig. It's often said that Ficus makes bad bonsai, but if you look at this tree, you have to disagree. Of course, one of the things that is regularly done with a fig tree to get good ramification, fine twigging, is defoliation. Yes, you can completely defoliate a fig tree and it will create better branching, better structure, and therefore a very impressive bonsai. So don't give up on that fig tree, but maybe choose the right starting material. A very creative, cascading Chameacyparis. Very, very cool styling.
Take this off completely?
I gotcha. Let me see from the other side. I do think that you should, in my opinion, focus your attention on developing a quality tree, smaller tree, out of each layer. Yeah.
This is a yard plant. This is a yard indoors.
So what you can do, right? You could layer it this year. But if you know better, this is probably eventually not good for bonsai anyway. Right. So but you want the growth in order to push the roots. Eventually, you're gonna bring it around and you're gonna thread graft lower down.
Wire apex, wire this, and then see where this stands.
Exactly.
After that.
Let's play it a little bit safe here and let's see where that heads at. We may well decide this is gonna go a big giant bush to like a wonderful little charming tree. I love that when that happens.
This must be the biggest quince forest that I have ever seen. And the nice thing about quince is that they peel their bark. So all the mature specimens, they get this mottled pattern of yellows, of grays and of browns. And of course, after flowering, they set fruit. Never leave too many fruits on, because it requires a lot of energy for the tree to really develop the fruits. But leaving 1 or 2 on a big tree like this, perfectly fine. This is a sort of a tri-trunk limber pine. Of course, it is still early in development. It needs a couple of more years to mature. But to me, this is one of the most interesting trees that I've seen in this Potomac Bonsai exhibition. Why do I find it interesting? Well, first of all, the movement. There's a lot of sinuous movement in the trunks, but also they've not tried to remove, for instance, a very big gin that's here. This is an old dead branch, and it just fits with the whole character of the tree.